2 nieces, still in their teens, the children of his only sister who had died 10 years ago. He had never seen them, but their photographs were charming. They should be overwhelmed with such benefactions as a bachelor uncle with a well-lined purse may pleasantly bestow. His friends, the dim legion that was to rise about his path, should take him to see Sarah Bernhardt, a mere name to him as yet, at the Gaiety, to the new Gilbert and Sullivan opera at the Savoy. They should enlighten him as to the latent merits of the pictures at Burlington House. They should dine with him, shoot with him, be introduced to his Indian falcons. In a word, he would keep open house, in town and country too, for all good fellows and their pretty wives. It had even occurred to him, as a possibility neither remote nor unattractive, that he might himself one day possess a pretty wife to welcome them. His sanguine expectations encountered their first rebuff when he found the Piccadilly Club, which had figured so often in the dreams of its exiled member, abandoned to a horde of workmen, a mere wilderness of paint and whitewash, and it was with a touch of resentment that he accepted the direction of an indifferent hall porter to an unfamiliar edifice in Pall Mall as its temporary substitute. Entering the smoking-room, a little diffidently, on the evening of his arrival in London, he found himself eyed, at first with faint curiosity by 2 or 3 of the men upon whom his gaze rested expectantly, but in no case was this curiosity, prompted doubtless by that touch of the exotic which sometimes clings to dwellers in the East, the precursor of the kindly recognition, the surprised, incredulous greeting which he had hoped for. After a few days, he was simply ignored. His face, rather stern, with its distinctive Indian tan through which the grey eyes looked almost blue, his erect figure and dark hair sparsely flecked with a frosty white, had become familiar. He had visited his tailor, and his garments no longer betrayed him to the curious by their fashion of Rangoon. The Blue Book, which he had been quick to interrogate, informed him that his old friend Hibbert lived in Portman Square, and that the old lady who was the guardian of his nieces had a house at Hampstead. Further inquiry at the addresses thus obtained left him baffled by the intelligence that Colonel Hibbert was in Norway, his nieces at school in Switzerland. Mackinnon, late of the Woods and Forests, whom he met at Burlington House, raised his hopes for an instant by a greeting which sounded precisely the note of cordiality that he yearned for, only to dash them by expressing a hope that he should see more of his old friend in the autumn. He was off to Southampton to join a friend's yacht on the morrow, and after his cruise he had designs on Scotland and the grouse. Sir Geoffrey, chained to the neighbourhood of London by legal business already too long deferred, connected with the succession which had made him a rich man and brought him home, could only rebel mutely against the ill fortune which left him solitary at a time when he most longed for fellowship, acknowledging the while, with a touch of self-reproach, that the position which he resented was very largely due to his own shortcomings. He had always figured as a lamentably bad correspondent, and his inveterate aversion to letter-writing had allowed the links of many old friendships to fall asunder, had operated to leave such friends as were still in touch with him in ignorance of his homecoming. Now, as he paused in the hall of his club to light a cigarette before passing out into the pleasant July twilight, he told himself that for the present he had done with London. He would shake the dust off the inhospitable city from off his feet and go down to the place in Wiltshire which was learning to call him master, to await better days in company with his beloved falcons. He even found himself taking comfort from this prospect, while a hansom bore him swiftly to the Savoy.